Hey loves, so I just got to the site to take my test and it is about an hour away from where I live. I chose this just based off of where I'd be able to get in quick enough. So I'm gonna go and take this test and let's pray I do well. I'll see you guys soon. Hey loves, so I'm back home and I took the test and I now have to wait 2 days to get my results, and let me tell you right now, this is the worst. I am so filled with anxiety and stress, like my chest literally hurts. I have a headache. My heart is beating out of my chest. Ugh. I hate this. Alright, so let me just tell you guys what I did to prepare. So once I finally got my ATT, alright, let me back up. May 19th, graduation. May 23rd to the 25th, we had to take a review course. Then we had to wait for our letters of completion to be sent out. I think that was sent out on May 31st. Actually, it might have been like June 1st or whatever because of the holiday. And I got my number, and mind you, I've probably called the board of nursing a million times. Because my letter completion was in. I put in my application back in March. There were people in my class that actually didn't even send theirs until, I don't know, maybe late April, May, and they got theirs. So I was highly annoyed that I didn't get mine until June 21st. So a full 3 weeks that it took for me to get my ATT. Once I got it, I immediately scheduled my exam. I scheduled it for July 5th. So it left me like 2 weeks to study. The first week, I wouldn't say I studied a whole lot. I did a lot of review with my ATI book, which is the book that we use that for our review course. So I like the book. I do think the book would have been better to have during school, while I was actually going through the program versus trying to cram 2 years of knowledge into, 2 weeks. So I did ATI for a bit. Didn't really like it. I thought I was gonna do Saunders all the way and just practice all those questions, but then one of my classmates took the test, I think June 23rd, and mentioned that they used UWorld, and my instructors previously mentioned UWorld, so I decided to take a look at it and love it. UWorld is very, 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 very similar to the NCLEX. I would say as far as like the actual interface of it, it looks pretty much identical. So for one, if you're one of those people that you get test anxiety because you don't know what the test is going to look like, you don't know what the fill is going to look like, the fill is going to be, definitely try UWorld. The questions are similar, and you get percentages based off of that, and they say if you score a 60 or higher, you're good for your you're good to take the NCLEX. And they have like 1900 questions. I really started doing questions probably in the last week, maybe week and a half. I did 1500 questions, and my average was a 57%. So I was freaking out because I'm like, everyone says you need to get a 60 and I have a 57%, and I don't know if that's going to be enough for me to pass. So yeah, I tried to do, you can only do a max of 75 questions at a time, which I did not like, and I hope they actually fix it. I feel that in order to simulate the test as much as possible, you should be able to test all the way up to 265 to really test your endurance. But so I did a bunch of 75 questions. Towards the end, I started shortening my questions to just doing like 10, 25, 30. And then I started focusing on areas that I felt like I needed the most. For me, maternity and mental health. So yeah. So then let's lead up to today. I did not sleep the night before at all. I probably got to come in like a total of maybe 2-3 hours before the exam. I just couldn't sleep. Like other stress going on, and then this is just, I just couldn't. So if you can, sleep as much as possible. I did eat a good breakfast. I had oatmeal, and then I had like a little egg muffin thing and some orange juice, and then I took a banana with me just in case I got hungry on the way up there or for on the ride back. My test was scheduled for 2 o'clock. Oh, so got to the test site. and my test was at 2, and I was at the test site at 12, walked in, and started my test at 12:10. Let's go over the security. Don't even bother bringing your phone. They say you can bring your phone, they'll put it in a bag or something, or you put it in the locker, or you'll put your extra stuff in the locker. Don't bother. Just get in and take the test and leave. Don't bring all this extra stuff that you have to figure out what you're doing. So I left my phone in the car. The only thing I brought in were my keys and my ID. When I got in there, I put my keys in the locker. I went to the bathroom, and then you have to go through the security thing, which you guys will see. It's like fingerprinting or a palm scan, take a picture, all of that. So yeah, so that part is like, you don't realize how much security they really put into it until you actually have to go through some of the stuff. That probably took like maybe 5 minutes alone. Yeah, then went to take the test, and the test took me about an hour and a half. And one thing I'll say, in order for you to prepare for it, I would say definitely go on to NCSBN, okay, where you go to actually register for the NCLEX. They have a packet there that tells you the actual breakdown of the material that you will see on the test. I definitely advise you getting that. You do not want to spend an insane amount of time for something that's only going to be 15% of the possible exam. It doesn't make sense. For me, I didn't focus a lot on farm. I just did my questions from UWorld. That was it. I didn't do any Saunders. I didn't use any of my Lippincott books. I didn't use any of my med-surg books. I didn't use any of my fundamentals. The thousands of dollars of books that I racked up for class, did not use any of it. I feel like UWorld was good. The rationales are amazing. So I would say start UWorld early, so you really have time to go through all the questions, and then go through all the incorrect stuff so you really understand it. I think that if I could have changed anything, I would have started UWorld early, and I would have gone over my rationales more. I think that's where I could have done better. But so took the test an hour and a half, and I got to 75, and it didn't shut off, and I'm like, what is going on? What's going on? Like, what do you mean it's not shutting off? My friend just took this test a couple hours ago, and hers shut off at 75. Like, what am I doing wrong? Am I failing? I'm like, fuck. Sorry. So kept taking the questions, kept taking questions, kept going. I got to 90. I was like, you know what, if this gets to 104, Charlene, you failed. Had a little mini panic attack. I'm like, pull your shit together, woman. Like, let's go. Pulled it together. 91, 92, 93, 94, and it cut off. And it took me a minute to realize that I'm like, this means it's done. So I sat there for a second because the screen just went blue. And I'm like, okay, like, this is good or it's bad. I really don't know. You know, when everyone tells you that it shuts off at 75, you're like hoping that it's going to start at 75. You understand that you can get 265. I completely got it, and I was like, it's not a big deal. If it goes all the way up to 265, then, you know, it's okay. You know what I mean? It just means more chance for me to pass. So, shuts off at 94. You have to do like a little exit interview. I grab my stuff from the locker, and I get in a car, and I immediately call my friend Megan, who took the test this morning. And we were both like, oh my god. I don't even know how to explain it to you. Like, it feels easy and it feels hard at the same time, and it's so much stress and anxiety that you're like, I know I failed. I don't know if I failed or not. Honestly, I'm so unsure and so nervous. It's just ridiculous. Like, my thinking is, I'm like, I was supposed to shut off at 75. I was supposed to know this stuff. It should have been done, but it kept going. And I'm like, 94, that means I was on the cusp, and I can't tell if I, like, you know, if I understood the material or not, so I had to keep going. So, I don't know. Left the place, drove home, met up with my friend, because we were both like, we just need to talk, because no one else is really understanding, and, you know, Megan is my person. I love her. And so she understood. So, called her, we went to Chipotle, and we drowned our sorrows in food, and we just talked about everything, and now we sit here and wait. Oh, I should mention, Did try the Pearson Vue test trick. So pretty much, if you haven't heard of it, what it is that you go onto the site as if you're going to register for the test again, and you put in your credit card number, and if what they say is if you get a good pop-up, which is the idea is if you get a good pop-up, and a good pop-up is that it says that you could not register for the test, then supposedly you passed. Okay, and this is what the good pop-up looks like. You see that? So what it says is, our records indicate that you have recently scheduled this exam. Another registration cannot be made at this time. This apparently is supposed to be the good pop-up. That if you get this pop-up, that means that supposedly you passed the test, and that is why it is not allowing you to take the test again. Now, what they say is if you put in the credit card information and it takes your payment, then that means that you failed the test, and now it's allowing you to register for the next test. I've also heard that if you put in the wrong information on the card, it will say invalid credit card, please put in the right credit card, and that could also mean that you did not put in the you did not pass the test. So I don't know if this trick really works. I did see something on YouTube that a girl said that her friend tried it, paid the $200, so she thought she failed, and then ended up finding out that she did pass, because apparently it goes through 2 grading processes, and like the electronic one may have failed you, but then the individual one, or whatever way they do it, passes you. So then you risk losing $200, and it is non-refundable. I repeat, the $200 is non-refundable. It says that on the site. So if you go ahead and you pay for it, it is on you. You're not getting your money back. So be prepared to lose out on $200 if you really want to find out. And also, there's no guarantee. Nobody knows if it really works or doesn't work. So yeah, did the Pearson Vue test twice. My friend actually had like an expired gift card, or a card that didn't have anything on it, so we tried that. She tried it, she got the good pop-up. I tried it, I got the good pop-up. I just tried again. I tried it with another credit card, but I did change a number just to see if it would take it, and again it gave me the good pop-up that it won't allow me to register for the test. So I don't know. So now I have to wait 2 days, 2 long days, to find out if I passed or not, and I am freaking out. This is the worst, and I hope that I pass so that I can move on and, you know, become a nurse, because this is what I've been waiting for. In other news, what has been going on with me, I've been putting out a bunch of job applications, and I'm hoping to hear from someone soon. My friend told me, who's a nurse already, she's actually a CRNA. She asked me maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, have I put in job applications? And I was like, no, I haven't put in anything, because I was worried that if I didn't pass the test, then I would have to explain this to them, or I wasn't ready, I didn't have my license. She was like, no, you put in applications like way before, because there's so many people that are going to apply. It takes so long for HR to actually go through things anyways, that you need to just go ahead and put out a job application. She said for her, and she passed nursing school maybe like, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago. For her, that she put in an application and got accepted for a position in February and did not actually take the test until August of that year. So, you know, depending on what that hospital needs, or whatever the agency needs, or whatever, they may be willing to take you even if you don't have a license. So I definitely think that you should go ahead and put applications in as soon as possible, and, you know, go from there. So that is about it. I unfortunately have to go to work tomorrow and Friday. No, Wednesday and Thursday. Yeah, because today's Tuesday. Okay, so I got my results back, and first let me tell you guys what actually happened, how I found out. I wanted to actually shoot a reaction video of when I found out, but I was actually at work when it happened. I was walking to one of the surgeries that I was actually going to cover, and as I was walking down the hall, I got a text message from my friend, and it was a picture of her, her name, and it had like the state website, and it said active nurse, and it had the license number. So I immediately got so emotional. I'm like, yay, my friend did it. I'm so happy for her. So I like ran back to our office so that I could call her, because I really wanted to talk to her and just congratulate her, because I felt so happy for her. Like her passing felt like me passing. Like I was so happy. And in the excitement, I didn't even realize that she sent me mine also. So I'm on the phone with her. I'm like, I'm so happy you passed. I was like, I'm trying to get on the website to see if I pass now. She was like, what are you talking about? I sent it to you. She was like, you passed. I'm like, what? So I look at the text message and I'm looking at it. I'm like, oh my god, I passed. Like, that happiness, like the amount of joy that I felt was unreal. Like I immediately burst into tears. Like we were on the phone just crying because I was so happy, because that test was hard and I was honestly really scared if I passed or not. The day before, I mean, I just took the test the day before, and I did the Pearson Vue trick, and when I did it, like I got the good pop-ups. I did it that morning also. It was like around 11 o'clock in the morning when I found out, and I did the Pearson Vue test maybe like around like 9 something, and I was still getting the good pop-ups. So I'm like, okay, you know, things are gonna be fine. I kept waiting for the quick results to come up. Still wasn't up. But the state posted our actual license number, and I'm like, it's real. Like, not only do I know that I passed, but I actually have my license number now also. So I was just in the office with her on the phone for like maybe 5 minutes, and we just cried and cried. And then I came downstairs and I told my manager and my co-workers, and they were all so happy for me. And it was just such an amazing feeling. I finally told my mom and my sister, and they were also happy, and I told my friends and everyone. And I can't tell you how much of a sigh of relief it is to know that I passed. It was incredibly hard. I wouldn't want to do it again, for sure. But as like for a breakdown of what I actually got, I had 94 questions. I finished it in about like an hour and a half, I think. I had 8 select auto applies, 1 math, which was ridiculous. It was a critical care math, and I really spent maybe a good 3 minutes on just that question alone. So like that kind of just started to psych me out a bit. I got 1 rhythm strip, 1 picture design, no audio or anything like that. And that was a test, and it was hard. There were like some questions that I got that definitely never learned in school. When I like, some of the stuff just kind of took me by surprise. I'm like, oh my goodness, how am I supposed to know this stuff? Am I getting stuff right? I was able to narrow stuff down to 2, but I'm like, once I got down to 2, I'm like, where do I go from here? So I felt like I had to guess on a few things. I was really trying to make good judgment on the answers I chose, but I passed, and I'm so happy. And now I'm no longer future nurse Charlene, I am nurse Charlene, and it is such an amazing feeling. That night I went out with my friend, and we went out to dinner, and we like sat there like to our first nurse dinner. Like it just felt so real. It's always accomplishing a life goal is great. Like you feel that more than anything. It's real. It's like you finally made it, like through all the turmoil, through all the stress, through all the hard times, through all like the BS that's going on in your life. When you finally get to that point where you've made it and it's your accomplishment, and it is such an amazing feeling. So it was absolutely great. I'm so happy. So what's next? I have been updating my resume. I added my license number on there. It now says Charlene, my last name, and then it says RN up there, and this is great. Like I've been putting in applications. I'm really excited. I'm crossing my fingers that I get a job in the ICU, because that is really where I want to be. But honestly, I'm not going to be picky. I'm going to take what I can get, but I'm always going to hold out for an ICU position, because that's definitely what I want. But I will definitely keep you guys updated as we go through things, and I will try to post more videos. Now that things like the stress is gone and everything like that, I will try to be better about things. I did make an Instagram channel that you guys can actually follow me on there. It's future_nurse_Charlene, and I'll put a link in the video as well. But yeah, it was great, and I absolutely recommend UWorld. I will do a separate video about what I did preparing for it. Alright, well, thank you guys. Thank you for all the well wishes and congratulations. And you guys let me know how your tests are going. Let me know how school's going. Let me know who graduated. I definitely want to hear about all of that. But I want to thank everyone for the well wishes, the prayers, all the kind words, the comments. Just know I read every single comment and I appreciate every single one of them. Love you guys. Bye.